Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we will discuss about the following topics. What is recourse? What are the type of recourses are there? What is with recourse LC? What is without recourse LC? Which bank will pay on recourse basis and which bank will pay on non-recourse basis? Which are those LCs which are paid on recourse basis and what are those LCs which are paid on non-recourse basis? What are the advantages and disadvantages of recourse? What is the process flow of LC with recourse and what is the process flow of LC without recourse? So let's begin. Type of recourses. There are mainly two type of recourses are there. One is with recourse LC and another is a non-recourse LC. With recourse LC can also be called as just recourse LC. With recourse LC can only be called as recourse LC also. Whereas non-recourse LC can be called as without recourse LC. Right? Now what actually a recourse LC is? As we know that with recourse LC is also called as recourse LC, right? So what is without recourse with recourse LC? With recourse LC is that LC, or we can say it is that situation whenever the nominated bank has already purchases the document which is submitted by the exporter and advances the payment to the beneficiary, but on the due date it did not get the reimbursement from the issuing bank. So but here nominated bank has already made the payment to the beneficiary, but on due date it does not get the payment from the issuing bank. So here what will negotiating bank will do? It will file a claim with the beneficiary to return the fund back along with the interest portion, right? So with recourse LC is that LC which gives the right to a nominated bank to get a refund of the amount which is paid earlier against the purchase of the document by the nominated bank along with the interest portion if there is a default by issuing bank on maturity date. So in simple we can say that with recourse LC is that LC where issuing bank will fail, or issuing bank there is a default from issuing bank side on maturity date to make the payment to the nominated bank, whereas nominated bank has already made payment against those documents which is already submitted at the counter of issuing bank, but issuing bank fails to make the payment. So who will reimburse to the nominated bank? What will now nominated bank will do? It will lodge a claim with the beneficiary to return his fund back along with the interest portion. So with recourse LC is that LC where nominated bank gets its fund refund from the beneficiary if issuing bank fails. If issuing bank fails on a maturity date, then in that situation nominated bank will ask beneficiary to return his fund back along with the interest portion. This is called with recourse LC, right? Now what is the nature of this LC? As we know that with recourse LC gives the right to the nominated bank to get its fund back from the beneficiary. So in the end beneficiary has to return the fund to the nominated bank. So it will be risky for the for the exporter because it has to refund the fund which it has received against the document which is submitted at the counter of nominated bank. So it is risky for the exporter because it has to refund the fund which it has received from the nominated bank when it purchases the document, right? But if we discuss the same on the other side, that is of the nominated bank side, then for nominated bank it is one of the safest type of LC. If we discuss about nominated bank point of view, then this type of LC is the best and safest type of LC for the nominated bank, because here the nominated bank has already purchased those documents which is submitted by the exporter, and on due date it has not received the payment, so it will get its fund back from the exporter. So for nominated bank it is safe, but for exporter point of view it will not be safe. It is a risky type of LC, because here exporter has to make the payment if on the due date issuing bank fails, right? So if a LC is with recourse, it means that if the issuing bank or the applicant refuses to make the payment to the nominated bank on the due date, then the nominated bank will file a reimbursement claim to the beneficiary. Then beneficiary has to refund those funds back to the nominated bank along with the interest portion for which he has availed the usance period. So with recourse LC gives the right to the nominated bank to claim a fund of the amount which is already paid in connection with the negotiation of the document, or we can say purchase or discounting of these documents. Right. Now we will discuss about the liability aspect. Now whose liability is there in with recourse LC? Here the liability is of exporter. Why the liability is of exporter? Because in the end, if issuing bank fails to make the payment or issuing bank fails to reimburse nominated bank, then in the end the exporter has to refund the fund back to the nominated bank. So in the end exporter is liable because it has to refund the fund back to the nominated bank. So liability is of exporter only here. Now we will discuss the undertaking aspect. Whenever the nominated bank is negotiating the document or purchasing the document which is submitted by the exporter, here the nominated bank will seek an undertaking from the exporter that it will reimburse back to the nominated bank if the issuing bank fails to make the payment along with the interest portion. So here the nominated bank takes an undertaking from the exporter that it has to reimburse or return the fund or refund of fund back to the nominated bank along with the interest portion if the issuing bank does not reimburse the nominated bank on a maturity date. Right? So if nominated bank is purchasing the document, then it has taken some sort of undertaking where it has specified that the beneficiary is liable to refund the amount which is paid by the nominated bank, to return that amount to the nominated bank whenever there is a default from issuing bank side. Right? Now we will discuss what is without recourse LC. As I mentioned earlier, without recourse LC is also called as non-recourse LC. Right? So it's just opposite of the with recourse LC. As we know, in with recourse LC, the nominated bank can file a claim to the exporter for refunding the fund along with interest if issuing bank fails. But in without recourse LC, the nominated bank can't file a claim with the exporter to refund that amount, whether the issuing bank makes the payment or whether the issuing bank does not make the payment. It does not affect the exporter. Here it does not affect the exporter, because here in this situation the exporter is not liable to refund that fund back to the nominated bank whether the issuing bank pays or not. So without recourse LC is that type of LC where the nominated bank can't make the exporter liable to return that fund back to the nominated bank whether the issuing bank pays or not. So it is that situation where nominated bank cannot get its fund refund from the exporter if issuing bank defaults on the maturity date. So this is without recourse LC. Now we will discuss the nature of this LC is, as we know that if we discuss on the exporter point of view, this is the safest type of LCs. Why it is safest from exporter point of view? Because in the end, exporter is not liable to refund that payment to the nominated bank. So it is safest for the exporter. But in with recourse LC, we know that it is the risky type of LC for the exporter, because in that with recourse LC, the exporter has to make the payment back to the nominated bank, or he has to refund that payment to the nominated bank whether there is a default from issuing bank. But in without recourse LC, the exporter is not liable to refund the payment to the nominated bank. So it is safest for the exporter point of view. If we discuss the same on the nominated bank point of view, then it will be the most risky for the nominated bank, because here the nominated bank is purchasing those documents basis on the without recourse LC. So if issuing bank fails, it can't claim from the fund from the beneficiary. So it is risky for the nominated bank, but it is the safest type of LC for exporter point of view. Now we will discuss the liability point. As we know that here the liability is of nominated bank only, because here is the liability of nominated bank only. It can't make the exporter liable to return those funds back to the nominated bank, because this type of LC is without recourse. So here liability is of nominated bank only. Now we will discuss undertaking aspect. Under without recourse LC, there is no need of undertaking, because here the nominated bank can't file a claim with the exporter. So why the exporter need to submit any sort of undertaking where he does not making refund of that payment? So does it make any sense for submitting any sort of undertaking to the nominated bank? So no, the answer would be no, because here the exporter is not liable to refund those funds. So when it is not liable, or he or she is not liable to refund that fund, then why there is a need of undertaking? So here there is no sort of undertaking required from the exporter point of view for the refund of the fund back to the nominated bank account. Now we will discuss what are those banks which pays on a recourse basis, or what are those LCs which is paid on recourse basis. So we will discuss both. First, we will divide both in 2 points. First is the bank which pays on recourse basis. Another is the LC which is paid on LC is paid on recourse basis. I can call it also as LC paid on with recourse. With recourse is also the same, and recourse is also the same. So let's understand both separately. Now, the bank which pays on recourse. The bank which pays on recourse is the nominated bank, or the paying bank which is paying to the beneficiary. So, nominated bank, whenever the nominated bank is negotiating or purchasing or discounting those documents which is submitted by the exporter, then it will always pay on a recourse basis, or we can say that it will always pay on with recourse basis, with recourse basis, right? So whenever the nominated bank negotiating a document or purchasing a document or discounting a sort of document, then it will always make the payment to the beneficiary on a recourse basis, until and unless a specific clause is mentioned in the credit that this will be on a non-recourse basis. If the credit is not stating that this recourse will be on non-recourse basis, then by default the nominated bank will pay on a recourse basis, right? So any sort of payment made by a nominated bank to the beneficiary against purchasing of those documents, then that payment will be on a recourse basis until the credit is stating that payment on a non-recourse basis. So if credit is silent on the type of recourse, then it will be by default on a recourse basis. If credit is stating a specific recourse, then it will be on that basis only. So now we will discuss what are the type of LCs which are paid on recourse basis. There were two type of LCs which will be paid on a recourse basis. First is the unconfirmed LC and second one is the negotiable credit. Unconfirmed LC and unconfirmed LC are those LC where there is no confirmation is added by the confirming bank, where there is no undertaking or no confirmation is added by the confirming bank to the undertaking of the issuing bank. So whenever there is an unconfirmed LC, then the payment will be made on a recourse basis. If the credit is not stating any specific recourse. If the credit is stating a specific recourse, then it will be on that basis. Else, by default, it will be on a recourse basis. Please make a note of this. Whenever the unconfirmed LC is paid, or we can say whenever the negotiable credit or unconfirmed LC both, when they were paid, then they will be paid on a recourse basis until and unless the credit is specifying a specific type of recourse, whether it will be a recourse basis, whether it will be a non-recourse basis. If credit is stating that it will be on non-recourse basis, then it has to be on a non-recourse basis, else it will be on a recourse basis by default. So unconfirmed LC or negotiable LC, both were on a recourse basis. Now we will discuss what are those banks or LCs which are paid on non-recourse basis. Bank which pays on non-recourse basis and LCs which pays on non-recourse basis. So also we have divided both in the two types, the bank which pays on non-recourse and the LC which are paid on non-recourse basis. So we will discuss both separately. Bank which pays on non-recourse basis, that bank is called as confirming bank. What is confirming bank? Confirming bank is that bank which has had its confirmation to the undertaking of the issuing bank. The bank which add its confirmation to the confirmation of issuing bank or at the request of issuing bank to a credit is called the confirming bank. When the confirming bank add its confirmation, it hereby undertake the responsibility of the issuing bank also. So here there is two sort of payment securities there. One is from the issuing bank side, another is from the confirm bank side. So confirming bank, whenever it honor the bill or it negotiate the bill, that will be on a non-recourse basis, or we can say that will be on a without recourse basis by default. Any sort of purchase or negotiation is done by confirming bank, that will be on a non-recourse basis by default if credit is silent on the type of recourse. If credit is specifying a specific type of recourse is need to be followed, then it will be added as per the term of the credit. If the credit is stating that this will be on a recourse basis, then it has to be on a recourse basis. If credit is stating that it will be on non-recourse basis, that it has to be on a non-recourse basis. If credit is silent, then it will be on a non-recourse basis by default. So confirming bank has always paid on a non-recourse basis. Now we will discuss the LC which are available on non-recourse basis. Whenever the confirming bank adds a confirmation to a LC, then that LC is called as confirm LC. So here also the confirm LC is always on a non-recourse basis. Whenever the LC is having a confirmation from confirming bank, then also that confirm LC will be paid on a non-recourse basis until and unless that specific type of recourse is mentioned in the credit. Now we will discuss about the demerits of the recourse. Here it include both with recourse LC also, or it also include without recourse LC also. So we will discuss the demerits of both the type of recourse. Risky for the exporter with recourse LC. Risky for the exporter with recourse LC. If the type of LC is with recourse LC, if the type of LC is with recourse LC, then it will be risky for the export. Why? Because in with recourse LC, then in the end of the exporter has to refund the fund back to the nominated bank if there is a default from issuing bank side. So if issuing bank defaults while making payment to the nominated bank on a maturity date, then exporter has to refund that fund back to the nominated bank which it has received against the document purchases by the nominated bank. So it is risky for the exporter because in the end it has to refund the fund back if there is a default from the issuing bank side. So it is risky for exporter if it is with recourse LC. Now we will discuss the same from nominated bank aspect. If it is without recourse LC, which is that LC where the nominated bank can't file a claim with the exporter for returning that fund. So it is what? It is risky for the nominated bank because here the nominated bank can't file a claim to return that fund back to its nominated bank. So it is risky for the nominated bank because in this type of LC, the nominated does not have any right to get the fund returned from the beneficiary. Whereas the most important point, or we can say the most important demerit of a recourse is this higher lending charges. What is this higher lending charges is? Whenever the LC is on a non-recourse basis, it means that the negotiating bank or nominated bank can't file a claim for returning that fund to the nominated bank. Then it is risky for the nominated bank. So whenever there is a transaction where the nominated bank is purchasing the document and that transaction is risky for the nominated bank, then it will cover its risk. So it will negotiate or discount those documents on a higher rate, right? Whenever the nominated bank is purchasing the document where it can't get a refund from the exporter whenever there is a default, because without recourse LC it can't claim a refund from the exporter side. In without recourse LC, the nominated bank can't request a refund or can't have the right to get the fund returned from the exporter. So whenever in any type of LC wherever the nominated bank can't get its fund back from the exporter, then if it is purchasing those documents, then it will definitely purchase those documents or discount those documents or negotiate those documents on a higher charges. So it is called as higher lending charges. So it is also one of the demerit of the without recourse LC where the nominated bank charge higher charges or higher rate while discounting or purchasing those documents or negotiating those documents. Now we will discuss about the advantages of recourse. Here the recourse included with recourse also and also the without recourse LC. So we will discuss advantages of both with recourse LC also and without recourse LC. Number one is the transaction is the number one of the advantages is this secure NB financial risk. What is this NB? NB here stands for nominated bank. NB stands for nominated bank. So it is securing the nominated bank financial interest. If the LC is on a with recourse basis, if LC is on a with record basis, it means the nominated bank has the right to get the claim from back. That nominated bank has the right to get a claim back from the, or to get a fund back from the exporter whenever there is a default. So here the nominated bank has the right. So it is one of the advantage of that, where the nominated bank financial interest is secure under with record LC. So nominated bank can get the fund back from the exporter if there is a default. So it is securing the interest of the nominated bank, that stating that its fund is safe even if there is a default from issuing bank side, because here the exporter will have to return the fund back to the nominated bank basis on the undertaking given by exporter at the time of purchasing of document, right? Now we will discuss the second advantage, but this is the quick fund inflow for the BENI. BENI here stands for beneficiary. Quick fund inflow means is the whenever the exporter exports the goods and submit those shipping document with the nominated bank counter, then the nominated bank will verify those documents and will discount the document. So whenever the nominated bank discount those documents, then it means that the nominated bank will make the payment to the exporter and will forward those documents to the issuing bank. So whenever the nominated bank is making payment to the exporter before it received from the issuing bank, then it is what? It is the fund inflow of that fund inflow for the exporter. So here exporter is getting quick payment from the nominated bank when he or she has submitted the document at the counter of nominated bank. So whenever the exporter submits the document at the counter of nominated bank, it verifies the document. If the document is clean bill, it will make the payment to the nominated bank, or that to the exporter. So for the exporter it will be a fund inflow whenever the nominated bank discount those documents. So for exporter it will be also one of the best advantage of the recourse. Now we will discuss the lower lending cost. If it is the with record LC, in that with record LC there will be always a low lending charges. Why? Because in with record LC the nominated bank can claim his fund back from the exporter. So whenever its interest is safe, whenever the nominated bank interest is safe, then it will always discount those documents on a low charges or low lending charges or low lending cost, because here the nominated bank can request fund back from the exporter if there is a default from issuing bank side. So if it is negotiating the document, then it will be on a low charges as compared to in without record LC. If the nominated bank purchasing the document in without record LC, then it will be on a high lending charges. If it is with record LC, then the charges levied by the nominated bank while discounting those documents will be less as compared to without record LC. Now we will discuss another advantage, that is the safest for the exporter. If the LC is without record LC, that is if the LC is non-record LC, then it will be safest for the exporter. Why? Because in non-record LC, exporter is not liable to refund that payment to the nominated bank. So that interest of the exporter is safe. The interest of the exporter is safe because in the end ultimately he has to not make the payment to the nominated bank whether issuing bank fails or not. So for the exporter it will be safest if it is without record LC. But if it is with record LC, then it will be risky for the exporter because it has to make the payment back to the nominated account. Now one of the major advantage of a record LC is that if it is a non-record LC, it will always require a confirmation. The another point is that if it is a non-record LC, then the nominated bank will require a confirmation from a third party bank that is called as a confirming bank to add a confirmation on that LC. So whenever the confirming bank is there, then it has to make the payment on a without record basis. So it will be an added advantage for the nominated bank that in this credit the confirming bank is there, so it has to reimburse on a non-recour basis. So it will be beneficial for the nominated bank. So here, if it is non-recour LC, it will require confirmation from a bank, that is called the confirming bank, to add a confirmation. So these are all about the advantage of a recour LC. Now we will discuss about the process flow of both the type of recourse. Now first we will discuss about the process flow if it is a with recour LC. If it is a with recour LC, then what will be the process flow? First of all, there would be an agreement between the beneficiary and the applicant, that is called as sales agreement. After that, the applicant will apply for LC issuance request to the issuing bank basis on the sales agreement. After that, the issuing bank will transfer or transmit that LC to the nominated bank, or we can say to the advising bank. Here the advising bank role is played by the nominated bank. So once the nominated bank has received the LC from the issuing bank, then the nominated bank will advise that LC to the beneficiary. So once the LC is advised to the beneficiary, then beneficiary will verify that LC and will ship the goods to the shipping company. Then shipping company in return will provide the original shipping document, which the beneficiary will submit to the nominated bank. So whenever the original shipping document is submitted at the counter of nominated bank, the nominated bank will verify those documents and will release the payment to the beneficiary, or we can say that it negotiate or discount the document submitted by the beneficiary. After negotiating, the nominated bank will forward those documents to the issuing bank. Now this is all about the process flow. If on the due date the issuing bank fails to reimburse the nominated bank, then the nominated bank will file a claim, that is as mentioned in the point number 9, recourse claim file. The nominated bank will file a claim with the beneficiary, then beneficiary has to refund that payment to the nominated bank. So this is the type of recourse which is called as with recour LC. Here, whenever there is a default from the issuing bank side, then the nominated bank will file a claim to the beneficiary. Then beneficiary have to return the fund back to the nominated bank account. So this is the type of with recour LC. What is the process flow if it is a with recour LC? Now we will discuss what is the process flow if the type of LC is without recour LC. If the LC is without recour LC, then what will be the process flow? Let's understand. First, there will be a sales agreement between beneficiary and applicant. After that, the applicant will apply for LC issuance request with issuing bank. Issuing bank will transmit that LC to the nominated bank, and nominated bank will verify the genuineness of the LC. After that, the nominated bank will forward that LC, or we can say that the nominated bank will advise that LC to the beneficiary. After that, the beneficiary will ship the goods and will in return submit those original shipping documents to the nominated bank. Here the nominated bank will purchase those documents after verifying the document and will credit the account of beneficiary. After that, whenever the nominated bank has purchased the document and credited the account of beneficiary, then it will forward those documents at the issuing bank counter. Now, if the issuing bank fails to make the payment on a due date, then the nominated bank can't file a claim with the beneficiary, because this type of LC is without recour LC. I mentioned the note, if issuing bank fails to pay on or before maturity date, then negotiating bank can't file a claim. So whenever the nominated bank has forwarded the document after purchasing to the issuing bank, then the issuing bank, if fails on a due date, then it can't file a the nominated bank can't file a claim with the beneficiary to return the fund. Right, this is all about the process flow. Hope you will like the video. If you like the video, do hit on a like scan and do subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.